You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. The family of Andrew Brown Jr., of course, they just a few moments ago held a news conference after they saw 18 minutes of the 2 hours of body camera footage of his death on April 21st. You might recall it was sheriff's deputies in Pasquotank County who actually descended upon his home there in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. For all of this time, they have been refusing. The DA has been refusing to allow them to actually be able to see, first of all, to see the footage. That's one of the things that actually took place. So today they finally allowed them to actually see it. This is a video here from Lauren Howard, who is a reporter there. Of course, this is a video of the family actually going into the sheriff's office to actually view that video. The judge last week ruled the family with 10 days they had an opportunity to see the video, and he also placed severe limitations on how much video they would be able to see. You see Reverend Dr. William J. Barber there. He was just hugging there Bakari Sellers. Again, this is the video of the attorneys in the family going into the sheriff's department. So that's the video there. Again, they saw that video today at around 3 p.m. The attorneys, they also came out, the attorneys came out, and they actually did speak to the media. As I said, in a moment, we're going to be talking with one of those attorneys to get their perspective. We carried the actual news conference live on the entire news conference on Roland Martin Unfiltered. You can actually watch some of that. Repairs of the breach. They were also there, again, with Reverend Dr. Barber. And so this is what Bakari Sellers actually had to say to the folks after the video was shown. Not sure why we're not hearing audio, folks, so just give me a second. We'll try to get that repaired in terms of what's going on with the audio there. As I said, this is, we were there on Saturday. We were there on Saturday for a march there, and the families and other folks have been calling for the release of all 2 hours of the body camera footage. But the judge, again, limiting to just 18 minutes they could actually see. That was a very problematic, again, for the family and for the attorneys. Let's see if we can now hear this audio. Okay, I'm not sure why we're not hearing audio, folks. So let's just bring in my panel here. We're going to try to get that fixed. And again, I'll bring up one of the attorneys. Let's go to the panel right now. Ben Dixon, host of the Benjamin Dixon podcast, Killer Bethea, communication strategist. Mustafa Santiago Ali, PhD, former senior advisor, environmental justice, EPA. Ben, I'll start with you. This is one of those things where people still are questioning no transparency. The judge limiting this video. Of course, they only seeing 18 minutes of the 2 hours worth of video footage. And the DA, Andrew Womble, still, he talked 2 weeks ago in court. He still has not addressed the public at all.
Right. So this is the first thing that stood out to me was when you said there was only 18 minutes out of the 2 hours. Right. And the critical thing is what information were they able to gather from those 18 minutes as they press forward with their particular case. But then also the criminal side of it. Like, where are we in terms of what's happening with this from a criminal perspective? Because so many times where we are able to get a modicum of justice on the civil side of the equation, we see the real fight is holding these policing agencies accountable. And part of the lack of transparency comes from the fact that this entire system from top to bottom is 100% complicit with making sure that these police officers far too often are never held accountable for their crimes against black people.
Harry Daniels is one of the attorneys for the Brown family. He joins us right now. Harry, how you doing?
How you doing, Roland?
Doing great. First of all, give us a perspective. First of all, what took place today? How many family members were allowed in to see the video? How many attorneys were allowed to accompany them?
We had two of Mr. Brown's older sons, adult children, Khalil and Gerard Furby, as well as the North Carolina attorney, Chance Lynch. They were the one who went in to view the videos.
So and so this right what we're showing right now. This is the video here of Chance Lynch. Right, that's who we're showing right now, folks. So just so y'all know what he looks like. Describe for us what they witnessed. They only saw 18 minutes of the total 2 hours of video. What did they actually see?
Roland, Chance describes in detail that once the deputies or the officers got out of the truck that rolled up on Mr. Brown seemed that he was startled that he was on the telephone. His hands was clearly visible. At that time, a shot was fired through Mr. Brown's window. Mr. Brown proceeded to back up his vehicle to try to get away. The DA made comment last week or a week and a half ago about the vehicle making contact with the officers. But in fact, the officers made contact with the vehicle. They grabbed the handle of the vehicle and seemingly as though they were pushing off the vehicle. At no time did Mr. Brown pose any threat to the officers. He was trying to evade them and get away from the officers while in the entire time they unloaded their weapons into his vehicle. According to Mr. Lynch, it was like a hit squad.
So the DA gives the impression in court that Andrew Brown Jr. hit the police officers.
That's correct.
What y'all describing, there were no officers standing behind the car. So the officers were coming towards the actual vehicle. So for him to hit, he would have to put the car in drive, but we were there, we saw the tire tracks, his car went in reverse.
That's correct, Roland. The entire time that Mr. Lynch described, the officers were on the side of Mr. Brown's vehicle. At no time did he try to use his vehicle as a weapon. I was very clear last week or so when the DA made the comments that not to be distracted, that he said that the officers made contact. He was very careful in choosing his words not to say to officers that Mr. Brown used his vehicle as a weapon. Roland, if he used his vehicle as a weapon, trust me, he would have said it. But he gave off this statement that seemed to insinuate or to think that Mr. Brown was using his car as a weapon. That was not the case. Let me be very clear. At no time did Mr. Brown drive his vehicle towards the officers. At no time. The contact was made by the officers, not Mr. Brown. Once Mr. Brown's vehicle got to the side of the vacant lot, Roland, I know you've seen it, they unloaded on him. They unloaded on him, and they killed him. No justification. I am a mad black man in America as to why these killers are not in jail today and how they can execute and kill a father of 7 and still walk free. Roland, we know now why they didn't want to show the tape, the whole tape at least. We know now because what we saw today was an execution of a black man in America by those who are sworn to protect and serve. Horrific, horrific.
Womble, the DA, even after today, does not come out and address the public. We really, and I keep asking this question, we really don't know who is actually running an investigation. Is the investigation being run by the Sheriff's Department? Is it being run by Internal Affairs in the Sheriff's Department? Is it being run by the DA's office, Andrew Womble, who's running for a Superior Court judge? Is it being running by? Is it being run by the State Bureau of Investigation? Do y'all have any idea of who's actually leading the investigation?
According to the district attorney, that the SBI is leading the investigation. I know it had been chatted that the Department of Justice also had launched a civil rights probe into the shooting of Andrew Brown. But Roland, to your point, we don't know. We don't know. But what we do know is what we saw today. We saw that a investigation should not take long based on this video. It don't take 2 weeks to arrest somebody who unjustifiably and intentionally killed somebody who was unarmed, who was trying to get away. A warrant does not give you the right to kill. A warrant does not give the right to kill. They killed this man. Be very clear, Roland. They executed this man.
Y'all also yesterday, Bakari Silas dropped a letter calling for the district attorney to recuse himself from this case. He's the only one, though, who has the authority. He has to step back. Just for everybody to understand, the state attorney general cannot step in. This is not Minneapolis. They cannot assume the jurisdiction to prosecute here. The DA would have to relinquish the case in order for that to happen.
Correct.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
The Attorney General Josh Steins called me personally on my cell phone, and he explained that to me, that the DA has exclusive original jurisdiction. He will have to request the Attorney General to come in to appoint a special prosecutor, and he have not done so. The governor of this state has called for him to do that. He has not done so. This is a district attorney who's currently in a position, Roland, who will make the decision to bring forth a grand jury and whether to indict people who work for him. And let me be very clear. They may be sheriff deputies, but they are prosecuting officers. One is the prosecuting attorney. Without the prosecuting officers, there is no prosecution in Pasquotank County. So he is basically prosecuting and making a decision as to whether he's going to prosecute his own. That is not transparency. He is joined to the hip of these officers, and he should recuse himself immediately and call for the Attorney General to come in. It is baffling that the state of North Carolina have granted so much authority to a district attorney that allowed that district attorney to make a decision, a bad decision, to oversee an investigation where his own folk are involved. When I say people, I'm talking about sheriff deputies who bring these charges. I'm not talking about people who work for district attorney's office. Be very clear. This is no transparency whatsoever. It is shameful. The North Carolina legislation should get to work and fix this. People should go out and vote and protest, but there's no way, no how this man should be overseeing this investigation, especially Roland, when he made the statement that Andrew Brown was moving forward, and not until only then that the officers began shooting, which, based on the video that our team saw today, was a lie. Was a lie.
What's next? You have to await whether the DA takes this to a grand jury. What's next?
Well, what's next? We are pushing for him to recuse himself. I know that the Department of Justice is involved, and maybe they have to assert their authority as under the United States government to move forward prosecution. I have no faith in this district attorney. I have no faith. I have no faith in him because the first time I met him, he told me that the family would be showed the raw footage, the full footage of the video. Not the case. He said that. He has not kept any of his word since I met him. So I am not excited about him overseeing this matter, prosecuting this matter whatsoever. I know what our next steps are moving forward on the civil aspect of it. But more importantly than a civil suit, we are calling for an immediate arrest. Everybody across this nation should be calling for immediate arrest of these officers who killed an unarmed black man in a manner in which it took place. It is horrific and a tragedy. I don't care if it's small town America. It can be New York. It can be Elizabeth City. Wrong is wrong, and right is right. And it's time for the folk, everybody, black, yellow, green, blue, to unify to say we are going to stand up for justice, and we're not going to stand for any foolishness and injustice anymore in this country. Roland, I keep saying Marlon because I want to say I'm mad as hell. I'm mad as hell, Roland. I'm mad as hell. And I rightfully all should be mad as hell of what has happened to Andrew Brown in Elizabeth City, North Carolina.
Attorney Harry Daniels, we certainly appreciate you joining us here, Roland Unfiltered. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Roland. Take care.
All right. Let's go to back to my panel here. Kelly, you heard Harry speak there. I mean, what we're dealing with here is a DA who has all the power in the world to determine what the next steps are. And at the end of the day, he is not being transparent with the public, saying nothing from communications office, literally nothing.
What we're dealing with here, Roland, is not just a DA who refuses to come forward with the truth. We're dealing with a lynching. We're dealing with a modern day Jim Crow 2.0 lynching, and the lengths in which that the police, the DA, and even the judge to a certain extent are going to conceal evidence is further evidence in itself that this was an unjustified, unwarranted use of force, and it was a straight up execution. And I was reading just how much the family was able to see of each video. There was a total of 5 videos, and in total, the videos are at least 2 hours long, an hour and a half to 2 hours long. And they've seen roughly less than 15 minutes total of an hour and a half long set of video. That to me says that there is an incredible amount of evidence in that tape that is not in the police officer's favor, that is not in the DA's favor, that is not in even the judge's favor, who let this family see the footage. It is expected at this point for those in power who want to uphold Jim Crow 2.0 to pull stunts like this. Thankfully, we have attorneys, people on the boots on the ground, and the family of Andrew Brown, who will not let this go, and the media who will not let this go, such as yourself, who won't let this go, because this deserves all of our attention, and we frankly deserve to see all of the video. Video 1 is 3 minutes and 1 second. Video 2 is 34 minutes and 58 seconds, and the family was only able to see the first minute and 40 seconds of that video. The third video, 32 minutes, only 4 minutes and 50 seconds into that video, the family was able to see. Video 4, 17 minutes, only the first 4 minutes. And video 5, 30 minutes, 8 seconds, family was only able to see 4 minutes and 40 seconds was disclosed to the family to see. So it just shows you how much they're willing to hide. Because if there was nothing to hide, like I said a couple weeks ago when this story first broke, if there was nothing to hide regarding this murder, because that's exactly what it is, nothing would be hidden right now. Everything would be out there. But that's not the case right now because they know what they did was wrong. So we need to hold this entire system in North Carolina accountable for their actions and see to it that justice is served on behalf of this family.
Mustafa, to that particular point there, that is what is important and what is critical. And unfortunately, you're not seeing it you're not certainly not seeing it by authorities there. And so how in the hell could we trust them?
Well, I don't think we should trust them. They haven't done anything to make us believe that they are trustworthy. You know, we've known now for weeks now, as folks have been waiting for the video, especially the family, that something was rotten. Something was rotten in Elizabeth City. And you know, they are continuing to try to string this along. It's a game that people play. You know, we're hoping that there will be something else that will come along that will take people's attention, that will get the rest of the country to focus on another issue. But folks aren't going to give this up because they understand that if you're willing to execute this man in this fashion, then, you know, you're willing to do it as we've seen it play out in many other locations. So one, we got to continue to put pressure on the folks who are there. 2, we got to keep it in this media cycle constantly so that the family can actually get justice. And 3, we got to make sure the Department of Justice also gets involved. And we see this across the country where there needs to be changes that have to happen in these police departments and with these district attorneys. And then, of course, the 4th part that we often talk about on this show is that, you know, you got to get engaged in the civic process. You have got to vote, because when you don't, you have these types of individuals, whether they're sheriffs or district attorneys or whatever the elected positions are, where you have folks who don't care about our community and where they think that they can move along with impunity and do these types of things. So we have to continue to make sure that our voices are raised and that we're staying engaged in the process.
Well, you're absolutely right. And it's important for us to also do our part to ensure that we have public officials who are in place to also make these things possible. All right, folks, back to that Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you have that you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it, please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.